because his audio seems to be fucking perfect.
It's not. We'll talk about it off air. We're about to get
Alright.
started.
All right. I'll do a sound check real quick on TikTok or on Facebook. Everybody, just one after the other because there's a 5-second delay. Give me a mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check, Big Yeet.
Okay, it looks like we're good.
Yeah, I think we should be fine now. This program isn't as fucking complicated like the other one, so I think we can just jump right to it as soon as we go live, you know?
Fair enough. You just never know.
Yeah. I'm confident though. I'm feeling good about this one. But all right. Let's go ahead and get started. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Snug Wrestling Podcast. Happy Monday. Happy Monday Night Raw after SummerSlam. The Monday Night Raw after SummerSlam gave us a pretty good idea of where the WWE is heading to next as far as when it comes to the Red brand. And we are here to go over that with the Snug crew, Mr. Blood, Toxic, and Tommy. What's going on, fellas? How y'all feeling tonight?
Big Yeet.
Pretty good. Raw was mostly enjoyable, aside from two things that extremely pissed me off, but we'll get into that.
Yes, we will, because this Monday Night Raw started with the new World Heavyweight Champion Seth freaking Rollins, and it looks like Seth Rollins is back to his usual self, wearing the overly flamboyant outfits, and he's doing the laughing, and he's doing, which I feel like we haven't really been seeing that version of Seth Rollins in a while, but now that he's champion, I think he's going back to that kind of more of his heelish character. So that was interesting to see, and Paul Heyman cuts the big promo putting Seth Rollins over, the new World Heavyweight Champion. And Seth Rollins, I was just waiting for someone to come out and interrupt Seth Rollins, and I wasn't sure who it was going to be. Is it going to be Punk? Is it going to be, I don't know. At this point, it could have been anybody. And it was LA Knight, and I completely forgot that LA Knight is on Monday Night Raw. But LA Knight, he brought up a pretty good point. Pretty much, hey, I was the last guy that beat you. I was the last guy that pinned you, so I should get a title match. And Seth Rollins did the usual heel shit and said, no, I'm not going to give you a title match. And I'm like, wait a minute, what happened to the workhorse title? This is supposed to be the working man's belt, right? Defend that shit, Seth. But he wasn't going to do it. It wasn't until Adam Pearce came out and he said, you know what? We are in Brooklyn. We're in the Barclays Center. This isn't your typical Raw. We're going to have ourselves a title match for the main event, LA Knight versus Seth Rollins. You guys, what did you guys think about the opening segment?
First things first, I felt like, as always, Seth kind of repeats himself a lot through his promos. I felt like for a good 10 to 12 minutes, he said the exact same thing about 3 times. So it's just like, I mean, it's funny to me that out of the two of them, they changed Becky's music to get the fans from popping for her, but they won't change Seth's to get the fans from popping for him. If he's supposed to be a mega heel, take the thing away from him that makes the crowd like engaging with him in that fun way. We're supposed to hate this guy. Still waiting on that. Personally, I worry that if this reign's going to be good or not, because it's like people seem to forget his last World Heavyweight Championship reign was boring as fuck. And a lot of people thought it was severely disappointing. In fact, the last good title reign that Seth had was the IC title. When he was doing all that back and forth with Austin Theory, and I want to say Bronson Reed. And it's just like, that was like 2.5 years ago. And now we're talking about he's the world champ again, which is fine. Put it on him, but smartest business decision would have been to put it on Punk because Punk moves fucking tickets. He puts asses in seats. People come for miles to hear what the fuck he's got to say. So when I'm listening to Seth, the one thing I kept coming back to is this is just a heel version of what you did when you were world heavyweight championship when it got reintroduced, except then you were doing like open challenges, like bring it on shit. And this is like a mixture of that run and his Monday Night Messiah run. And it's kind of morphed into this thing where he's backed by these guys that are glorified fucking security guards at this point that never really get to show their personality. And to that credit, I am so sick and tired of Paul Heyman putting over Braun Breaker as the future of the company. But then Bronson Reed is just like, and here, the Auszilla, Bronson Reed. And I'm like, oh, but he's not the future of the company, but Braun Breaker is. Got it. So at least Bronson Reed knows where he stands. This is all about building Braun Breaker and Seth, and Bronson's here as a heavy. Got it. Awesome. That's not great for his character, by the way, nor his development. Then LA Knight comes out, and the first thing that pissed me off about this was LA Knight's a SmackDown superstar. He was never moved over to Raw. No. He was SmackDown when he was feuding with Seth before Saturday Night's Main Event. When Seth jumped him for getting involved, then he ran over to Raw to jump Seth, and that's what led to their Saturday Night's Main Event match. He never got moved over. He was always SmackDown.
Toxic, help me out with this really quick. Didn't they trade LA Knight at some point? I want to say they did something about that.
They traded
No,
Damian.
they didn't. They didn't trade LA Knight over to Raw. I'm personally confused about this because he just started showing up on Raw, and I'm like, okay, is he on Raw now? I mean, God, can you give us some clarification? I'm trying to update my 2K25 universe mode, so
Okay,
give us
well,
some.
if Toxic says they never did anything, then I believe it because he always
Yeah.
remembers shit like this.
Well, I know they never did because he only started feuding with Seth because Seth came over to SmackDown. So when Seth cost him in SmackDown, then he went over to Raw to fuck with Seth. So, and then they went to Saturday Night's Main Event, and then he went on vacation, and then he came back tonight. He was a SmackDown superstar. So how is a SmackDown roster superstar competing for a Raw title? How is he just allowed to jump over? We got no explanation from Nick Aldis or Adam Pearce saying, hey, I have permission from Adam Pearce that you can be here tonight. Oh, it's the wild card rule. Oh, we traded you. Nothing. Just, hey, you're here now, and let's insult the audience's intelligence because they haven't seen you in a couple weeks. Maybe they'll forget that you were on SmackDown. And I was just like, come on, bro.
Yeah, also, they were saying before that some draft was supposed to happen after SummerSlam. It's after SummerSlam, so we've yet to hear anything about the draft, but go ahead, Tux.
Yeah, that draft we've been needing since like after WrestleMania. We've been needing that. Anyways, opening segment of tonight was good in my opinion. I see what Seth is doing now is like basically what Blood said. What his first World Heavyweight Championship reign when they reintroduced it, it's like that, but he's just doing it as a heel, which I liked his first reign with the new World Heavyweight Championship, if you would call it that. Um, I just, it's kind of boring. I don't think changing his song would be the best because yes, you would want him to have heat, so take away the well, like the people singing his song. I'm not gonna do it. I was gonna, but I'm not. Um, so I don't I don't think changing his song is the play to make. I think I don't actually no. The play to make is make him stop dressing so goddamn goofy. I think that's the thing you do to make him be more serious. He's dressing like a clown every single week. Not every single because he did start to go a little bit like back to normal clothes, but tonight, what was that? But yeah, I like the opening segment of tonight. I just wish that Paul starts putting Bronson over along with Braun.
Between Becky and Seth, I think the one that could honestly use a new theme is not Becky, it's Seth Rollins. Because if you're going to try and make him more serious, then obviously the whole dressing thing seriously needs to change. He needs to stop trying to look like a bunch of fucking oven mitts. Like, dude, quit it. But at this point, what really needs to happen is exactly what Toxic said. The fans need to stop singing his song, which means you need to completely change it and take out the woes altogether. Like, start with. You did say that.
Okay,
The whole
Tommy,
woes
for the
bit.
for the second time now, I said I don't think changing his song is the way to go. I think the way to go is make him stop dressing so fucking goofy. Listen, use your ears.
Shut up, Toxic. But at this point, I do think that changing a song would honestly benefit him. Because if everybody's singing his song and all of that, it's only going to make him feel more like a babyface right now. Like during his entrance, even though when he gets into the ring, it's a completely different story. But the song itself just screams babyface to me. So changing that, honestly, in my opinion, would not be that bad of an idea.
You guys care way too much about the themes. Like, not one of you guys really said much anything about what was said or the promo. It was the theme that really stood out to you guys the most about this whole
Because
thing.
there's not really much to fucking say about it.
All right, change Seth Rollins' theme then, I guess. All right, you guys, let's go backstage. We had the Judgment Day backstage, and they were looking a little bit different than usual because Raquel and Roxanne did not have their tag team titles because they lost them last night at SummerSlam or the night before. I can't remember which night it was, but Dominic Mysterio was celebrating because he retained his championship. He beat AJ Styles, and they ran into the LWO in the hallway. And I thought it was really interesting that Dragon Lee challenged Dominic Mysterio for a one-on-one match, and Dominic Mysterio said, okay, it's kind of out of character for Dominic Mysterio, him being the chicken shit heel that he is. I thought he would say, you know what, I wrestled last night, I had a tough night, I'm not in the mood to wrestle tonight. But no, he said, yeah. And I thought, wow, okay, this is a different Dominic Mysterio. And then we learned that AJ Styles, he confronted Dominic Mysterio too in the same segment. And he pretty much told Dominic Mysterio, hey, I'm not done with you. As long as you have that belt, I'm going to be coming for you. So we should probably be expecting to see more of Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles. And I'm down for that. But what did you guys think about what we saw here in this backstage segment?
I thought it was fine. Genuinely speaking, I wasn't overly impressed with AJ versus Dom. It felt more like a Monday Night Raw match to me on a PLE. Just the way the every act of the match, every section of the match was set up, it felt like a Monday Night Raw match to me, just with a well thought out finish in that of slipping the boot off to then distract the ref. And then, like that was cool. But I feel like Dom had better chemistry with what's his name that he wrestled at WrestleMania. Who did he wrestle at WrestleMania?
He was in a triple threat match at Mania.
It was
But then
Penta, Braun, and Finn.
Okay, who's the guy he wrestled from AAA that had to stand in? That he called out last minute. And then that
Octagon
guy came
Jr.
in. Octagon Jr. I think that's the best match I've seen Dom have this year. And that one was like back and forth, high flying reversal, counter reversal. Like it was really great. I felt like the match he had with AJ was, to be 100% honest, a little cookie cutter. So I'm not looking forward to seeing it again because I could just see it on Raw and then I'd say I've seen it. I think AJ needs to move on because if this is the last contract we're going to have AJ on, I want AJ back in the world title picture. at least one more time before he goes. This man is a freaking legend walking. You know what I mean? I want him to I'm hoping to God that after this bullshit with Brock Lesnar is over with John Cena, that we get John Cena and AJ one more time. And I want AJ freed up for that shit. So I'm hoping this doesn't drag too long. But I want AJ's stock risen high enough by the time John comes a knocking for AJ Styles. And I don't want AJ to feel like he's a mid-carder going up against the main eventer of all main eventers. So I want him to kind of step away from this. If they want to knock it out as quick as possible, fine. But it's not like I need AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio round 2.
I didn't really pay attention to a lot of the backstage tonight. It just kind of, I don't know, I just wasn't interested in them. But yeah, I'm with Blood. Well, not really with Blood. I want AJ and Dom again, mainly so AJ can get the Intercontinental Championship. But I don't need to see it. I would rather have, after the bullshit with dumbass Brock Lesnar is done, I'd rather see John versus AJ. So yeah, I'm not really liking where AJ's going right now if this is his last year, but it's okay.
I have been saying John Cena versus AJ either for the Intercontinental title or without. Obviously, currently it will be without. Since before SummerSlam, before we got Brock Lesnar back. So, just saying, I'm going to pull a Blood here. I've been saying it first. Been saying it for weeks now.
I was still thinking it longer before you said it.
Yeah, you've been thinking it, but it didn't come out of your mouth first. So I win on that one. But when it comes to AJ Styles and Dom, I'm with you, Blood. He needs to move on. It's like, I get it. He wants to go after that Intercontinental title again. But I would much rather see John Cena and AJ Styles one final time. God, please, Brock Lesnar shit go by quickly. Just have it be like a fucking one match thing and move on. But I honestly really, really want John Cena versus AJ Styles one final time.
If I may specifically say exactly why I want AJ to move on, not just because I want him to face John, not just because I want his stock high enough to where that match feels like it makes sense, aside from it just being, it's a rematch of the classics. I want it to be justified. Keep in mind, they tried to gaslight us this weekend with the video packages at SummerSlam, trying to tell us that as soon as AJ came back, he went straight after Dominic Mysterio to get that title, and Dominic dodged him. And the truth is, that's not what happened. He came back, and then they did nothing with him for 3 straight months. And then he started feuding with Dominic Mysterio. And then they didn't do their Saudi match. And then we get all the way here past a Saturday night's main event to SummerSlam to finally have what felt like a TV match. So it took 4.5 months to get here, and I don't feel like it was worth it. So move on.
Well, y'all are tripping because I'm all for this. Honestly, I mean, the match at SummerSlam was entertaining, Dom versus AJ. It was honestly one of my favorite matches of that whole night, especially after everything that we saw. And if they're going to continue, which I'm pretty sure they are going to continue the storyline with AJ and Dom, that's only the beginning. Like, they're not going to fucking give us a fucking 5-star banger of a match at the Tokyo Dome on their first match. They're going to, like, the next match is most likely going to be better. And if they do another one, that one is going to be better. So I'm hopeful, man. I'm looking forward to seeing more of AJ versus Dom, especially if it means Dom getting more convincing wins over AJ Styles. That's gonna do Dom a lot of fucking. It's a great look. So
on that, I'll agree with you for sure. The win definitely puts a lot of fire under Dom. AJ has a name that when you beat him, that means some shit.
All right, you guys. I don't know if it was because it's been a long weekend in wrestling. I've watched like hours and hours of fucking wrestling, as you guys have as well. So this next match was it was kind of hard at first to get into it. It was Sheamus versus Rusev, and they're 1-1 now. Some people are getting on me online because they're like, they're not 1-1. They've wrestled like 7 times ever since like 2015. No, motherfucker, they're 1-1 since Rusev, his latest return when he just came back. They've wrestled each other 3 times now since Rusev came back. They're tied 1-1, and this I don't give a fuck about anything else. I'm talking about the present here. They were tied before this match. This was supposed to be the tiebreaker, and halfway through the match, it got more interesting to me. It was when the match left the ring and it started getting chaotic. It started getting more brutal, more intense. And I'm thinking, okay, what are they gonna? How is this gonna end? And it ended in a count out. Both of these guys got counted out, so we didn't get a tiebreaker, which means this continues. And I'm down for that too. I want to see this now because the way that it ended in that count out, then they had a huge pull apart, and they had the security rushed in like. They didn't waste no time. The security hit the fucking, ringside. They broke them apart. They couldn't do it, but it's believable because these guys are huge, right? And the fans got into it. Let them fight. And I'm like, yeah, I want to see more of this now. But what did you guys think about the match between Sheamus and Rusev?
I'm a massive fan of Sheamus. I've said that many times. I feel like this twilight part of his career has been the best work he has done in his entire career. And I remember watching him the night he debuted in 2009. I remember the night he appeared first ever in WWE. And I liked him then. I've liked every stage of his run, from King Sheamus to the Bar to the beginning of Banger After Banger to like everything up to now. In the last 3 years, the man has been putting on every single night he's wrestled the most he can possibly give in a match. He literally, I can say out of everybody on the roster, I have never seen somebody literally give as much of themselves to every match they're in the way that Sheamus does, especially in the last 3 years. I don't think anybody leaves it all out there the way that he does, even on just regular TV, not even PLE matches. He's going out there the last 2 times he's gone up against Rusev, and they have been sweaty, battered, broken messes, giving us PLE quality beatdowns of each other. So when this happened, I'm like, oh, it's the rubber match. I was a little miffed because I was like, why wasn't this on SummerSlam? The rubber match on SummerSlam, this would have been great on SummerSlam. I could think of at least 2 to 3 matches we could have replaced with this on SummerSlam this past weekend, because you give them 20, 22 minutes, these guys will beat the fuck out of each other, and it's going to be gold. But I'm glad that it ended in a count out, because now it gives us an excuse to get to a real tiebreaker. Now, when is that going to happen? I don't know. Is this turning into a best of 7 series? I don't know. But because keep in mind, that's how Sheamus and Cesaro became a tag team. Best of 7 series, and they wind up having this they build this respect for each other, which forms in the tag team, the Bar. I don't think that Sheamus and by any means Sheamus and Rusev become a tag team out of this. I will say the only thing about this feud that isn't working, and it's not really his fault, is Rusev. Because since he's come in, the direction behind him has been very confusing. What is his character? Because when he first came in against Otis and Akira, was him saying, I am basically going to, I'm going to free you. You are my brothers. Like he was trying to make it all about, this is like a cleansing of professional wrestling. And then he's dropped all that already. And now it's all about, oh, I came back and Sheamus, you didn't care about me. We were supposed to be friends and you disrespected me. And, you the first thing we do when I come back, you don't congratulate me on my return. You don't say hi. You attack me or you threaten me. And I feel like we've lost the way with Rusev, and we need to find a way to get that back. I still am in favor of bringing back Rusev Day or something to that nature, even in a heel format. But he needs something to get the audience to invest in him. Other than that, this was great.
You know, I agree. I see this going into an actual tiebreaker now that this was a draw. So technically, okay, never mind. But I see this going into an actual tiebreaker, and I see them getting locked up in Hell in a Cell. Rusev and Shay. I think that's the way to put Rusev over, because we're all saying that Rusev isn't interesting, or he did not like he's not satisfying. I think you have him beat Sheamus if they go into a Hell in a Cell or a steel cage or whatever you want to put them in, and then have him win it, and that'll push him slightly over more with the people and everyone else. So I see this leading into Hell in a Cell. But other than that, boring match tonight. This was really boring.
Yeah, it kind of was. And the way it ended, I'm like, no. This is supposed to be the tiebreaker between the two, but I would not be surprised if there was another best of 7. Like, I completely agree with that. I would not be surprised if that's exactly what happens. This feud is not ending anytime soon. And my response to that is let it fucking happen. Let it go. This thing doesn't really need anything. There's already fuel to the fire itself because of who's involved. Just let them go at it. And as much as I would love for Hell in a Cell to happen between these two, I would not be surprised if a fucking street fight comes out of this. That would be a badass match. 2 meaty men slapping meats in a street fight? Let's go. Please do so.
What kind of street fights have you been watching, Tommy?
God, no more street fights. No more fucking street fights.
I think it'll go into a steel cage match, not a Hell in a Cell. I think a steel cage match, but that's just me.
I'd just rather see a best of 7 series at this point. I've seen way too many street fights just in one fucking weekend. All right. Up next, we saw Penta versus Grayson Waller. What about Grayson Waller, man? The second week in a row, he gets a singles match. Didn't look half bad versus Penta. The only thing that I am going to say is, like, this whole thing with the New Day is just so fucking terrible. The whole thing about them being in mourning and, you know, they're wearing the goofy outfits and they're looking like fucking some old lady nuns, the way that the New Days are dressing, and it's just one of the worst fucking flops that I can think of when it comes to heel turns. Like, what a disappointment this fucking heel turn that we're getting from the New Day, honestly. But, you know, if it means getting Grayson Waller on TV more, that's cool. And I have a feeling that when Austin Theory comes back, that this is going to set up Austin Theory and Grayson Waller having a program with the New Day. The New Day, they're not accepting Grayson Waller. They're kind of like we're gonna let him pretend like he's in our group, but we don't really fuck with him type thing. So I think that they're gonna put some sympathy on Grayson Waller, turn him face. Austin Theory comes back, and we're gonna see A-Town down versus the New Day. That's just my prediction. But when it comes to the match with Penta and Grayson Waller, I liked it. I was into it. I'm enjoying seeing Grayson Waller getting beat every week on TV. So what did you guys think about the match?
So I was saying this even in December when we were still on TikTok live, the old way we used to do things, that I have always stood by and said that I think Grayson Waller is severely underrated. I said even back then that in A Town Down Under, I thought Grayson was the bigger star because he's more charismatic. He's better on the microphone. I would argue that Austin is probably better in the ring, but in-ring wrestling is not everything that professional wrestling is. In fact, because this is majority sports entertainment with professional wrestling, I'd say Grayson is the bigger star because he's just got something, you know? And I remember being so surprised to find out that he was literally like 36 years old. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, dude's already hitting close to 40 and they're just now finally booking this guy. And I'm thinking, yo, push this man, because I like Grayson Waller. I like him a lot. He's snarky, he's arrogant, but he's charismatic. He's full of energy. He's great on the mic. He's quick and quick-witted. I think he's a perfect heel in this day and age where he works and lives the gimmick even out of the ring in interviews. He still stays that snarky asshole. Also, incredibly, if this wasn't impressed upon last week enough, I'm incredibly taken aback in a positive way by how good he tweaked his physique this year. He looks incredible. He looks like a real athlete in there, and he already was before. I thought he had great work in this match with Penta, and Penta's Penta. Fucking Penta's awesome, okay? Penta's fucking great. I don't think you can deny that. I think if you say Penta sucks, you're a fucking loon and you don't watch wrestling. So tonight, when they had that back and forth trading blow spot, I popped. I was getting like indie vibes, bro, like old indie shows where it goes back and forth and back, and the crowd was buying it. And had they kept the fucking camera on the match, this is where I get mad. The New Day shit, yeah, it ain't working for me. Because they spent more time in this match with the camera and the fucking commentators talking to the New Day, the camera always going back to the New Day at commentary desk, that when the fans were literally starting to cheer, "This is awesome," and coming alive when they knocked each other out cold, laying both on the mat, when the crowd starts coming alive, the camera switched to the New Day and then they died back down. And I'm like, you just killed the highest point in their match because you're too busy worried about what's not happening in the ring. This really made me mad because these guys were actually putting in some decent fucking work here, and Grayson was really starting to win the crowd over, even with Penta. And then they're focused on the New Day and Xavier Woods' ridiculous, stupid fucking hat. So I was extremely aggravated. This should be about Grayson. You guys have been champions so many times, and you've lost them as many times as you've won them. So how on earth are you only now mourning this recent loss? Because you were champions when you were heel too, and you didn't do it then. So this is just fucking stupid. They took the shine off of Grayson and Penta, in my opinion. And that really irks me. And they need to fucking stop focusing on them when a match is going. Focus on the in-ring. The commentators too spent more time having banter with the New Day than even actually doing play-by-play commentary. So I was like, what the fuck are we doing here? There's a match in the ring. Sorry, but it fucking annoyed me. But these guys, they killed it. I just wish the camera people and everybody in the back running the show knew that.
Oh boy, Blood is about to fight a cameraman. Anyways,
Again.
sorry. Is it me or did Xavier Woods look like that one dude from Mortal Kombat with the long ass hat? I kept, yeah, Raiden. I kept going back to that, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't unsee it now. He might be talking to Seth Rollins on his wardrobe or something. And I agree with Michael Cole. Penta looks 100 times better in that hat. Anyways, enough about the hat. Yeah, the match is really good. The match was, holy crap, English. The match was really good. Not a lot of complaints about it. It's just a lot of the matches tonight. Oh my god, Blood! If you take that dictionary out, I swear. Anyways, a lot of the matches tonight felt boring because we just got 2 days of SummerSlam. Of course, it's gonna feel boring because we just sat through 2 days of 2 nights of wrestling. So of course, it's gonna feel lackluster because we're tired of it, but we love it. Anyways, but yeah, not a lot of complaints about this match, but not a lot of good things about this match.
The match was great. New Day is the fucking New Day right now. Xavier Woods and that fucking frisbee of his that he calls a hat. 'Cause that's what that is. That's a fucking frisbee. And Penta threw it like one at the end of that match, and I fucking love that. The best thing that happened to the New Day tonight was getting fucking suicide dived on by Penta after he fucking chucked that hat. That was the best thing that happened to the New Day all night. But the match itself, Grayson Waller, man, holy shit. Like, this man is a absolute beast and is underutilized. He is absolutely underrated. Many people can say that he's overrated all they want, but the truth is he's not. He is underrated for how good he actually is. But that is my only issue with the match was fucking New Day and the whole, hey, kiss my hand for respect. Kiss my hand for respect. Kofi, shut the fuck up. Just shut up. Stop trying to make the entire thing about the two of you. And how about you actually let the cameraman focus on the match? Yeah, blood. You've been trying to fight cameramen all night and all weekend, and I completely fucking agree with you on that one.
Yeah, the other thing too, when it comes to New Day being on commentary, was I don't know what Xavier Woods was trying to do, but he tried to he completely buried Michael Cole, which I did not like at all whatsoever. And he was like, "Oh, Michael, how are you gonna tell me about how to find success in something you've never done?" I'm like, "Bro, you're talking to fucking Michael Cole, who's been in the WWE for fucking years, who's made millions of dollars, analyzing these matches. Like, if anyone can give you some advice, I think it's safe to say it's Michael Cole."
He's literally been on commentary longer than Kofi or Xavier have even been wrestling. 28
Fuck,
years.
Plus, he's
fucking
undefeated at
stupid.
WrestleMania.
Yeah, and that's true. So that right there, I was just like, bro, I get you're trying to be a heel, but like, don't try to make a veteran like Michael Cole look stupid just to make yourself feel better about the stupid gimmick that you're trying to do. Like, it's
And
so
block the
ridiculous.
view of the entire 3 rows behind you in that section.
I would be pissed off if I was sitting behind that fool. I would have thrown something at him.
I was mad for them. I was like, dude, I'm literally watching people trying to look around him. I'm like, at least take the stupid fucking hat off. I bet you the moment he got backstage, Seth ran into him in a gorilla was like, "Can I borrow that?" Like,
yeah. Well, despite all the negative shit that the New Day brought into this match, I was still enjoying Monday Night Raw up until this point. Until we got to the women's tag team match, we had a title defense. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, new tag team champions, defended their titles versus the Judgment Day. And it first started with Charlotte and Alexa Bliss doing some of their fucking cringy ass back and forth banter of, "Oh, we're not really friends. Oh, we're not going to say it. We're not going to put labels on it." And they're just like, I'm starting not to care about this. It seems like the fans seem to be really into this thing that this fake non-friendship that they're doing. But to me, it's bullshit. I don't really care for this. And then we get started to the match. The match also, it was too long for me. It was way too long. At some point, I was just like, man, can you guys just hurry up and end this? Like, I don't think Charlotte and Alexa Bliss were going to lose the titles. Again, I just continue to feel bad for Raquel Rodriguez because I mean, she's there. She's trying to make she's busting her ass trying to make everyone look good, and she's bumping all over the place for Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. So I I just I can't wait for Liv Morgan to come back and continue a more interesting storyline with Raquel and Roxanne, and just hopefully get them away from those tag team titles, because I don't really care at this point. But what do you guys think?
Personally, I disagree. And it's not just because obviously Charlotte's my goat, Alexa is one of my other goats. And again, I've been championing this at nauseum that the smartest bit of women's booking that was ever made this year by Triple H was pairing these two together, because it completely turned the fans back on Charlotte's side organically. They didn't have to force a face turn. The fans wanted to cheer Charlotte. And that's a win. If you can get someone that was getting so much go away heat for years by this audience to go, you know what? Fuck it. We do like you. You know, we love you. And we want more of you. If you can do that, that's a win. It has been an extremely excruciating year in the women's division. And I mean painful. For like 90% of the booking of this year has just been fucking brutal to get through. And it's not even most of the women's fault. It's the writing around them. And then they're going out there doing the best they can with the material that they're given. I like that awkward, witty banter between them, because it feels like them just going out there riffing and trying to riff off each other to build their chemistry. It doesn't feel overly produced or scripted. It just feels like, hey, go out there, say a couple things for a couple minutes before we cue the music. Try to make them laugh or something, whatever. And they went out there and they were just like, let's riff. And it's kind of quirky. Is it a little corny? Yeah. But you know what? Friendships are fucking corny. I'm sure if you're out in public and people see you and your best friend, you guys have your inside jokes or your dumb shit, they look at you and they over here, they go, y'all are corny as fuck. Because I know they do with me and my best friends. So me and my best friends are Vanilla Bear, I'm Chocolate Bear, and then Dr. Cox, because we're all fans of Scrubs. So, it's one of those things where I liked it. The match, I thought it was fine. The one at SummerSlam was like 13 minutes and 35 seconds when they won so it's when they won those titles. And the fact that we got a rematch immediately, I think is also kind of good. I thought Adam Pearce stating that, normally it takes us a while to set up a rematch was bullshit, because checks notes night after WrestleMania, didn't Becky and Lyra automatically have to redefend? So that was stupid, but I like it. I will say I am feeling the lack of Liv Morgan in this division. I'm feeling it. Roxanne feels out of place here. I think Raquel needs Liv back.
Hold on there, Toxic. There's no way I'm going to let Mr. Blood go that easy, because I get what you're saying about the back and forth banter. It was nice at first, but they're just forcing it now. At this point, it doesn't feel natural anymore. They're just trying way too hard with it, I feel like. And also, if we've gone over the matches with, Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton, and we've complained about the referee calling the matches for them. But Jessica Carr was literally yelling spots at fucking Charlotte and at everyone during this match, because at some point they got completely lost. And again, I go back to this match was too long. So I think if we're going to complain about Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton's matches being called by the referee, we got to point it out here too, because it was way too fucking obvious.
I personally didn't hear Jessica Carr calling any spots out. I heard her yelling at them about time.
No, she was yelling at them like tag her, and then do this, and they were just like not getting it. And she was like, fucking do it.
Who was she yelling it to?
Everybody in that match was all over the place.
There's a possibility that it was a time thing and that the match producers were telling her we got to wrap up, so they need to jump to this, jump to that, jump to this, and she's relaying it. But
it went like 15 fucking minutes.
I thought
how long was it?
I felt like they went like 10 and a half because their match last night was longer. I mean, regardless, I think we can agree that this division needs Liv. I think it needs Liv. Roxanne and Raquel don't have chemistry. They just don't. So I'm hoping when Liv gets back, we get the breakup, we get the fallout. Raquel goes on to the singles division like I know you want, and we get to see her back in singles action, and maybe Liv and Roxanne wind up tagging or something, but they've got to clean this up. But we're going to have to wait like 4 more months for that. So we're going to have to see how this goes. But I am excited to say that at least it's time for new tag contenders, a new tag matchup. The Judgment Day is getting cycled out for something a little bit more fresh. They'll come back to it, but let's take a break for them for now.
This match was horrible. Go ahead, Toxic.
Correction, Snug. Jessica Carr wasn't yelling at them to like she wasn't calling the match. She was yelling at them, like basically warning them, like, "Hey, don't pull the hair, don't pull the hair." I think that's what
You
you're
guys should go
talking
back
about.
and watch it then.
I'm probably gonna. But that's the only time I heard her yell at them, was like warning them about pulling their hair. So yeah, that's the
See,
only
this is
time.
how boring this match was because I can tell you, if you guys didn't notice that, you guys weren't paying attention.
Well, no, I was. It's just that's the only time that I heard it. So, but um, to me, this was match of the night, even though every match tonight felt boring, including the main event, because once again, we just through 2 nights of wrestling. I am tired of wrestling right now. That's weird to say. um, but yeah, I just wasn't interested in this match as much as I would have been.
Yeah, same here. I kind of feel like last night's match was a little bit better between these four. And
It was that Saturday.
the point still stands. Even Snug said last night. So, yeah, Blood did too. So, just saying. So, I will say that I completely agree with Blood here. The best thing to happen to these tag titles is to switch it the fuck up. Like everything with the Judgment Day, it's starting to get a little bit stale, if I'm being completely honest. Like that entire group, in a way, is just becoming slowly, like slower and slower, Blah. Slower and slower when it comes to like being stale and all of that. It's just becoming stale for me. But I do feel like, yeah, I go back to WrestleMania and I'm like, didn't the Judgment Day get a rematch literally next day then too? Are we only giving the tag rematch clause to them now? Like, seriously, drop the fucking rematch clause altogether. Please. Just stop it. It's starting to get irritating at this point. Just fucking quit it. The match itself, eh. But then again, as you guys have already said, we've been dealing with hours of wrestling already. So anything right now is going to be eh until Friday.
Did you hear that they're possibly, by the way, gonna look at other PLEs to turn into 2-night events now that SummerSlam and WrestleMania were a success? Oh God.
No, I did not. But let's move on here. We saw my homeboy Dragon Lee versus Dominic Mysterio in a one-on-one match. This was to hype up their Fatal 4-Way match that is scheduled to go down at Triple Mania, I believe, in a couple weeks here, which I'm excited about. So this was a little teaser. The Fatal 4-Way match involves Dom, Dragon Lee, El Grande Americano, and I can't remember the fourth guy. Oh, the champion, the AAA Mega Champion, El Hijo del Vikingo. So we're starting to see the build up to that on WWE TV, which I thought was really great. The match was great. Dom got another win. Dom is, he's getting wins out of his freaking ass, like one way or another. And this time it was because not uno, not dos, but tres. Grande Americano showed up for the distraction. Dominic Mysterio took advantage. And what a fun way to end a match. But what did you guys think?
What a doink the clown ass gimmick this has turned into. I swear to fucking God, I'm at the point where I'm starting to lose interest in El Grande Americano. I thought it was funny when we realized it was Ludwig Kaiser as the first copycat. Now I'm just like, okay, then it looks like it might be Pete Dunne as the second one. Then we got a third guy, and I barely got a good enough look at him to figure out who the fuck I think it is. And I'm just like, okay. Now it was funny at first. Now we're beating a dead horse. Now it's turning into a Doink the Clown gimmick. Y'all remember Doink the Clown, where it was like there was like 4 or 5 people were Doink the Clown, and there was a Doink girl, and like it was all the same one gimmick portrayed by multiple people at the same time. And I'm just like, okay. And none of these people are Chad Gable because he's out on injury from surgery. So I'm just like, y'all are really just trying to keep the momentum and heat behind this, but you're losing all the swagger that he had in it because you have so many people playing different versions of the same one character. It's like funny, but it's grating now. As far as the match is concerned, Dominic gets the win. Good. Keep your champion strong. Hey, Dragon Lee, we don't get to see you nearly often enough. Remember when you were supposed to be the next Rey Mysterio before all these other guys were supposed to be the next Rey Mysterios? Hey, but at least you're back on TV. And you lost. Thanks for coming. But as far as it's concerned, the only positive I can say about this entire match is that Dom got over. You kept him strong. 2 wins back-to-back. Great. That's awesome, especially 2 nights in a row. Especially he can say, hey, look, I wrestled AJ Styles and I still beat your ass the next night. Good. Keep your IC title strong. Other than that, it was fine. Again, it's hard. Like Dom is good, right? But it's hard for me to buy into his opponents, especially babyface opponents for Dom, when the people that he's up against are never on fucking TV. So it was hard for me to care about this match because I couldn't find myself caring about Dragon Lee because I never fucking see Dragon Lee anymore. That being said, good for Dom. El Grande Americano shit continues. I digress.
So, Snug, what's your excuse for there being 4 El Grande Americanos now?
I mean, he's a great luchador from Mexico. A lot of people just want to be him.
Okay, well, you're lying out of your ass because there's 2 that we know who it is, and that's Chad and Ludwig. We think the third one is Pete Dunne. Now, who the fuck is this 4th one? I'm actually gonna go rewatch it so I can try and put the puzzle pieces together because I'm actually hoping it's Ray. I for some reason I want a Rey Mysterio heel turn. Rey Mysterio versus Dragon Lee. I want to see that match. Y'all 2 are shaking your heads, Tommy and Blood, or not Blood, Tommy and Snug, but I want to see it. I mean, he's been face for how long has he been in the WWE?
The last heel turn he had was in WCW, and it did not work. He's
Okay.
too much. He's too naturally a babyface. People will never buy it. He's been a babyface for 25 years.
Well, still, I want to see it. I want to see it still. And if it's not Ray, then I don't know who the fuck this is. Like, what in the Scooby Doo are we doing here? This is. Am I lying? This is not some. This is something we would see if WWE and Scooby Doo had another collab. This is. They're stretching this.
And Chad Gable would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids.
it seems that at this point, the fan-made El Grande Americano Battle Royal is becoming more and more fucking imminent. Because what the hell? Why are there 4 of them now? You might as well put 30 men, make them all El Grande Americano, and put them all in a battle royal at this point. Because, no! This needs to fucking stop! There are already too many. Snug, you're over here saying, oh yeah, like he's a great guy from Mexico. There are 4 of them in total now.
We all have a
Fucking
little bit of Grande
4.
Americano in us.
No.
Shut the
Shadow
fuck up.
clone jutsu. He cloned himself.
As Michael Cole said, apparently they're fucking reproducing like fucking crazy right now. Holy shit. There are a lot of them. Now, when it comes to the match itself, taking out the fucking El Grande Americano clones, the match itself, I liked. Because Dom is kept safe for his future round fucking 2 with AJ Styles. Because let's be honest, that's gonna fucking happen. But good old fucking Dragon Lee looked great too. Like both of them looked great. And AJ Styles coming out, the boot came right back from last night. Same boot. Like that sucker came right back, and great callback. But the match itself, I liked it. It was decent.
Well, we heard from Sami Zayn, so we got a pretty good idea of what's next for Sami Zayn. And it looks like, Sami Zayn, after defeating Karrion Kross, he still wants to become champion. That's his goal. And, he mentioned Karrion Kross is in the rearview mirror now. And apparently, Triple H also feels the same way about Karrion Kross, putting him in the rearview mirror. No Karrion Kross or Scarlett on this episode of Monday Night Raw. The reports are coming in that their contracts are up this weekend. And that clip that has been going around the internet kind of got me worried when, after SummerSlam, the fans were clearly chanting, "We want Kross." Triple H said, "You want him? Well, you got him. You got Brock." And I'm like, what the fuck? There's no way you can confuse Kross with Brock. There's no way. So I'm getting worried here, but it looks like Sami Zayn might be getting involved in that match with Sheamus and Rusev, because Sheamus and Rusev were fighting literally for like 2 hours straight throughout this whole entire show. They couldn't keep them apart. And Sami Zayn got caught in the crossfire and he got hit by Rusev. So, we were talking about Rusev and Sheamus. What type of stipulation match are they going to be? Are they going to add Sami Zayn to this feud now? Or what do you guys think is going to happen here?
It's kind of a shame, man, because I saw the clip too of them chanting, "We want Kross." Now, I will admit, the first time I heard the clip on TikTok earlier today, I legitimately thought the first 3 chants they said, "We want Brock." I legit thought that, as did a lot of people in the comments, because I checked to make sure it wasn't just me. But then when I heard Kross, and Triple H turned around and said it in that kind of snarky-ish way, "Well, you got him. You got Brock." I almost got a little aggravated about it, because I was like, dude, this ain't the week for you to be swatting away the fans. What with your Donald Trump ass bullshit last week, your allegations are just allegations, right? About Vince McMahon bullshit. And then you brought back freaking Brock Lesnar, which 80% of the fandom is furious about, myself included, because that's cool, not holding people accountable, even for their assumed actions. I don't give a fuck. Your WWE legal team cleared him. He's still very much wrapped up in the lawsuit. He shouldn't fucking be there. So for you to troll the fans with a guy who is currently being investigated for some heinous shit, bad move. And as far as it's concerned, I feel like if they release Carrion and Scarlett Bordeaux this weekend, we have another R-Truth incident on our hands. Because people want Cross so fucking badly, so badly, that they're chanting his name in other people's matches. Okay? When you start getting over in other people's matches, you should probably push that guy. But instead, you're going to possibly push him out the door. And that's really aggravating to me. Because WWE likes to act as if Triple H said it in the WWE Unreal documentary. When you see someone who's just, getting, starting to catch on, you want to jump on that, get your finger on the pulse and the trigger, and you want to make sure you put a rocket on their ass. Talk is cheap, Triple H. Talk is cheap. He should have beat Sammy. And as far as is concerned with Sammy, I still have the sneaking suspicion Sammy's going to be involved in War Games because he was already involved with the Seth story and the Braun story earlier already this year on several different occasions. I think his next direction is a filler feud with whomever before he gets somehow sucked back into the War Games shit. But I think in War Games, it turns out that Cross was right, and Sammy's going to turn heel in War Games.
Shit, I almost forgot it was my turn. I was so invested in what Blood was saying. I'm like, okay, he's speaking truth. Okay, not our truth, but anyways, yeah, it's stupid that one that Sammy is getting involved in the Rusev and Sheamus shit when he has no business in it besides Rusev punching him. Okay, so you have issues with Rusev. What the fuck do you do with Sheamus? Oh, nothing. And just the whole thing about Cross, they're stupid if they're going to keep a sicko like Brock and release a good ass person like Cross. And it's just stupid. It's stupid because Cross is really talented in that ring. I want him if he gets the R-Truth situation. If him and Scarlett get the R-Truth situation, they don't need him to do what they're doing with R-Truth right now. They need him to go after Dom. I want to see Cross and Dom for the Intercontinental Championship and Cross take it off of Dom because Cross is more than championship ready. Just gotta wait for Triple H to get his foot out of his ass.
Yeah, when it comes to the whole Cross thing, I listened to that thing 5 times, even followed each and every S that I heard. And all of a sudden, Triple H is over here just like, well, you wanted Brock. You got Brock. Bro, no. I was following it. We want Cross. We want Cross. Like, the entire time. Like, what the hell are you thinking? I don't like the decision to bring him back either, but hey, he's back. There's nothing we can fucking do about it now. So, when it comes to the Rusev and Sammy thing, that match has been announced for next week. So, Sammy and Rusev will be going head to head next week. They announced that later on in the show. So, that is a thing that is in fact happening. So, this whole thing, I'm like, why? Makes no damn sense. I get it. You're trying to leave Cross in your rearview mirror. Why are you going to Rusev when Sheamus is currently involved with him? It's the Bianca Belair situation all over again. Bianca did not need to be involved in the whole Rhea and Io thing, but they slipped her in there, and they're doing the exact same thing with Sami Zayn. Why? Why are you doing one of the things that you got hated on so much about, and now you're doing it again with Sami Zayn? No! Just fucking quit it, Triple H. Please. Stop randomly putting people in to storylines that they have no business being in. Just quit it. That's it.
Speaking of hating, we found out what's next for Becky Lynch too after SummerSlam. Becky Lynch retained her Women's Intercontinental Championship versus Lyra in a fucking brutal match. And I don't mean that in a good way. If you guys haven't heard our review for SummerSlam, go check it out where we pick apart this match and we really tell the people how we felt about it. And I was really curious to see who was going to step up to Becky Lynch. And oh God, it's Nikki Bella. And it just went from, oh my God, like the match, the feud with Lyra was what it was, right? And I'm thinking they can't get worse than that, right? But it did. Nikki Bella stepped up to Becky Lynch, and this is how, like, I don't think in the year of 2025, I don't think people care for Nikki Bella anymore, because during the promo between these two, the people were getting behind Becky Lynch. And then Becky Lynch hit Nikki Bella with the line of don't talk about my hot husband. We're the strongest power couple in pro wrestling. You at one point were, but oh, you can't see your husband anymore, referring to her, her relationship with John Cena, or marriage. I think they were married at some point. And that got a big pop. So that automatically put Becky over even more, and is just, oh my God. So we're gonna see Nikki Bella versus Becky Lynch at some point, and I'm really not too thrilled about that. But what did you guys think?
Quick correction. They were engaged to be married, but they called it off because John Cena did not want to have children, and Nikki Bella did.
I don't care.
It was a huge public thing. That's the only reason I'm correcting it. For all the smart marks that'll be in the comments on this shit. But as far as it's concerned, I am the moment that I heard Nikki Bella's fucking music, I went into our chat and automatically sent the Michael Scott meme from The Office. No, please, God, no. And I literally saw you reply, just shoot me. And I replied, me first. I called dibs because I literally said in the comments in our chat, and I'm going to say it here. We sat through almost fucking 5 months of Becky Lyra. Almost 5 months of Becky Lyra. And we finally escaped that hellish goddamn never-ending time loop to then get stuck with Nikki Bella and freaking Becky Lynch in the feud that no one asked for. And Becky, oh my God. And Nikki had the audacity to look Becky in the face and said, why did you come back? You had no reason to come back, yada, yada, yada. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, isn't that the fucking pot calling the kettle black? Nikki, the retired Hall of Famer, the fucks is you doing here? Because what are you doing back? No one, you know what no one did at the beginning of 2021 or 2025 said? Oh my God, this division needs the Bellas. No one in their right fucking mind was like, you know what? This division's garbage. We need Nikki Bella, specifically Nikki Bella. And we need her. We need a feud with Becky Lynch. You know what's a dream feud for me? Nikki Bella, who doesn't even wrestle halfway decent compared to the women on the roster today. We need her to go up against Becky Lynch, who is one of the 4 fucking horsewomen, okay, who is severely better than Nikki in the ring. And we need a fucking thrown together match for that. You know why? Because Liv is injured and we couldn't get Liv versus Nikki. So this is the consolation. Well, fuck you running, Triple H, because I cannot believe you. And then the lines about husbands, because the fans popped for Becky when she said, me and my hot husband. The fans actually audibly like clapped and laughed because she said it. Her delivery was hilarious. It was really funny. I got to give props. Sometimes Becky really does have really good comedic timing. But then Nikki just remained serious, and Becky fucking nuked her in this promo. Nuked her. Nikki said her lines very well. I'm not going to take away the fact that she cut the promo well. She got barbecued with that John Cena line. That right there for me killed the feud immediately, because I was like, Nikki, you can't measure up. You just proved it right now.
Oh God. Okay, I don't want to see this whatsoever, but we're most likely seeing it just because Liv is out. Thanks, Liv, for or whoever caused your shoulder to be injured. I'm pretty sure it was accidental, but I'm not gonna blame anyone, even though I just said thanks whoever did that. I'm just confused. I know one thing. I know I was hating on why Becky getting a new theme at SummerSlam. She deserved it. That song is good. I love that song. I'm like, okay, when I'm able to find like a good video on like YouTube, I'm gonna put this on, or like when it's on Spotify, I'm gonna put this on my playlist because this song is really fucking good. So happy what Becky's going through. That's not Nikki Bella. She really needs something else. Probably maybe Rhea Bloody Ripley. So yeah.
All right, I'm gonna keep this brief for timing reasons. Nikki, go the fuck away. Stop shoving yourself right into places you do not need to be. Yes, I understand. Pause, but still. Resume. The entire thing with Nikki Bella just needs to stop. She needs to just go away and stay away at this point. I get what you're trying to do with Nikki Bella, but it is not successful. It is only getting irritating. Leave her the hell out. The roster does not need her anymore. As she even said in her own promo, the girls are great on their own. They do not need Nikki Bella randomly trying to shove herself into places. Pause. Resume. But still, Nikki Bella just needs to go away. No one asked for this. Once again, Triple H has a problem with either giving us exactly what we want, our truth, and Cody Rhodes as champion, or giving us things that no one asked for. Nikki fucking Bella's return. So, yeah, fix this shit. Because no one asked for this whatsoever.
Yeah, this is gonna be horrible. But let's go to the main event. It was a World Heavyweight Championship title match: Seth Rollins versus LA Knight, and the bronze were barred from ringside. So this was gonna be a straight up 1-on-1. And our socials, some people were commenting on our clips and stuff, and they were saying, "Well, this is a perfect opportunity for the Oracle to debut a new member since Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker." They're not allowed ringside. We might get a new addition to this faction. But that wasn't the case. Unfortunately, that would have been cool to see. But we did have a great main event. This match between LA Knight and Seth Rollins was really good, I thought. I mean, they were really laying it in. This was the main event. This was for the World Heavyweight Championship. And they were wrestling like it. They were not holding back. And I kind of figured something had to give, right? I was thinking, who's going to run now? Are they going to debut a new member? Or is it going to be CM Punk? Like, I didn't know what was going to happen, but I was really into it. Ended up being CM Punk. He attacked Seth Rollins, which caused LA Knight the match because it ended in a disqualification. LA Knight was not happy about that. So we're going to see something there with LA Knight, maybe trying to get even with CM Punk after that. And then we had Roman Reigns showed up. So now you got Roman, you got LA Knight, and you got CM Punk all coming after Seth Rollins. So all of these people that Seth Rollins has been screwing over the past few months, they're all coming for revenge. And now we got an interesting 3-on-3 situation here with all these guys. and it's very, very intriguing, I think. But what did you guys think of the main event?
Y'all smell that? Smells like war games. And I legitimately enjoyed the main event. LA Knight is one of those guys that I'll never understand why people think he isn't a good wrestler. Because every time I see him, he always does it for me. He just does. And shout out to BT Knight, the number one LA Knight fan that I know. And, you know, as far as concerned, the match was, I think, even though it didn't end with a definitive finish, neither did their match at Saturday night's main event, but I feel like this match was better than that one. As far as concerned, hard hitting, great. We got the scare that LA Knight was going to get stomped on the concrete floor when Seth Rollins exposed the floor padding to the actual base floor. And the moment he was going to go for the stomp, I was like, something's going to happen because he's taking too long to execute the stomp. And then lo and behold, my GOAT, Jesus CM Christ Punk, pops up and done jumped Rollins from the crowd, started wailing on his ass, saving freaking LA Knight's forehead, but unfortunately costing him the match at the same time. However, even though LA Knight tried pulling on CM Punk earlier or later and shoving him like, dude, what the hell are you doing? Well, I know you're mad, LA Knight, but you wouldn't have finished the match because your face would have been scrambled eggs on the concrete floor. So perhaps, you know, live to fight another day, my friend. He saved your ass. And even if the match ended, those other two were going to come out and beat the tar out of you further. You thought it was going to end with a stomp? No, brother. Your ribs were going to get crushed by like 5 tsunamis when that was over. So you should be thanking your lucky stars. When the match was over, I had a feeling something was amiss, right? I almost, because I had to take the dog out before we get on here, went to put my finger on my PlayStation controller to exit out of Netflix. And then someone said, wait a second, that copyright logo is floating around a little too long, dude. Wait. And then all of a sudden, boom, boom, boom. Oh, the OTC, the TC1. And I'd like to say this. I finally figured out what TC1 stands for. It is not the Tribal Chief One. It's the Chosen One. And as far as it's concerned, the Chosen One came out and done fucking Superman punch, this, that, save the third before he got his bell rung and stomped out into the mat at the end. 3 tsunamis, 2 different spears, and a stomp. They rung Roman's bell so much, I'm seeing Hunchback of Notre Dame. And as far as it's concerned, this was a great finish, leaves us open, but we're heading towards the end of this feud. And I think it's going to War Games, but we're getting Roman versus Seth at some point. I'm telling you.
You know what? I smell it. I smell what's cooking, and it's not what The Rock is cooking. It's what you're cooking. Yeah, this whole match just reeked like War Games. Not in a bad way, in a good way. I'm excited for War Games because we get all these different possibilities. I've seen some. I'm pretty sure everyone in here has like, oh, what if they do a 3-way War Games? The whatever they're calling Seth's group, the OG Bloodline, and yeah, that's bad when you don't know their name, MFTs. Yeah, but I do have a prediction on who I think the next member is going to be, and no, it's not Austin Theory, because just in case you were thinking I was going to say that, I told Tommy this. Once he drops the North American Championship, I think it's Ethan Page. Think about it. He's done a lot in NXT since showing up like last summer. If Seth wants complete power over Raw, you need to take either him or Oba, because they run. No, not Oba, not Oba. Oba needs his own thing. No, not Oba. Okay. But Ethan would be a good option.
Completely fucking agree with that. So, entice me on this. Do you smell what War Games is cooking? It's very clear what the teams are going to end up being. And here's the problem. One group is already verified as one hell of one. The other one is randomly put together. Because I'm looking at the Oracle and all of that. I'm like, okay, that's great. And then you have what odds are their opponents will be. And it's Roman, Knight, Punk, and Jay. In which, where the fuck was he tonight? That's the biggest question. Where, like, Roman was getting beat the hell out of. Where the hell was main event Jey Uso to come and help him out?
Still in Jersey.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised on that. Still in Jersey getting drunk as all fuck. Probably. But still, I'm looking at this. I'm like, this is weirdly put together. It is a bunch of like random people going up against one of the biggest teams on Raw right now besides Judgment Day. Like, it's not looking good for the randomly put together. But overall, we will see how that goes. Hopefully, we actually get this match at War Games, because it would be still, even though half of the competitors are randomly put together, it would still be one hell of a match.
Yeah, and not to mention Bronson Reed stole Roman's shoes once again for the second week in a row, so I'm loving that. But Mr. Blood, get us out of here.
Plug time.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Snug Wrestling tonight, guys, for our Raw review. Thanks for kicking it with us. We appreciate every single one of you for tuning in every single week. And don't forget, we are live every Monday and Friday night right after Raw and SmackDown go off the air on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, and for live post-show reviews specifically. Now, as a bonus for reaction content during weekly WWE broadcasts, that's on all of our socials as the shows are happening. You can also hang out with us every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific on TikTok Live, where myself, Mr. Blood, and the leader of Snug Wrestling, that handsome Mexican over there, Edgar, do our weekly one-on-ones where we dive into random wrestling topics and answer your questions. So follow Snug Wrestling on all social media platforms, as well as on Apple and Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And again, mark your calendars, because I'm shouting this into the ether. August 12th, we have got Chris Steeler joining Snug Wrestling for an exclusive interview by yours truly, or not yours truly, but Edgar, ours truly, the leader of Snug Wrestling, will be interviewing professional wrestler Chris Steeler, who has also worked with AEW and NWA, and this guy is amazing. And on August 14th, Dwayne Cashman, one of the rising stars in the indie scene, will be sharing a story with us when he goes one-on-one with an interview with me, Mr. Blood. So until next time, stay safe, stay savage, and stay snug. And one time for the one time. That was 4 letters.
4 letters.
One word.
One word.
Gee.